Shank Rock is the wave of the future. The diagrams that I have up, where did this go wrong at?
Remember, we didn't know this happened to her.
Around 3 o'clock that morning, I got random text messages and it was just pictures of her and the other little girl. I thought it was strange.
Oh yeah, you know, that's what I'm headed for, so let's get it.
Oh, let's say that's my head for. Let's go back and say, do the last.
Oh, word? You said that's who?
Yeah.
You said that's who?
Yeah, it's Mike.
Right.
I'm trying to get out. That's gonna get it free.
Let's go.
Say, man, what's up, man? It's your boy Charleston White, man. This is my first movie ever. $1 million what?
$1 million thing, $1 million thing.
$1 million thing, man. So I'm with my man, the producer Shank, man. So he finna show me what to do, how to put it down, man, so we can pick some up. So y'all stay tuned in and locked in, baby. Yeah.
Let's talk about some of these beefs you've been into.
Yeah, that's what I love. That's what I love. Let's get to it. Yeah.
Now, look, I'm going to save her for last, or should I start off with Gorilla first?
Her, you said her. That's a her to you? man, that bitch look like
everybody to this demonstration. Salute to the chat. Salute to the replay gang. Salute to all of my moderators. Now, as I promised everyone, I would chop it up about politics and its involvement and how I feel about it in the Nolan Wells case. Now, we're going to be reacting to a content creator's demonstration, and her name is Unshakable with April. Shout out to Unshakable with April, whether you agree with her or not. Let's tap into a little bit what she has to say as far as politics being involved in the Nolan Wells case. All right.
Good morning. Let me say the case that we have been dealing with now for the last several weeks around Nolan Wells is indicative of many cases around the country that have raised serious questions with racial overtones. Attorney Crump and I are going tomorrow, where I'm doing the eulogy for a young black man in Madison, Wisconsin, homeless, and they say had a knife, and there's the tape of him being shot. 3 cops surrounding him, shot and killed, 4 shots. And these cases building up in a climate of an administration in Washington that we cannot feel will objectively investigate. There was a time that we could say if state authorities fail us, we can go to the Justice Department. Even under George Bush, we went to the Justice Department. We, at this point, have to hope that one, we can deal with civil courts, or secondly, that there's a balance of power with the Democrats taking the House in November, and maybe the Judiciary Committee under that can at least put a check and balance on cases that need to be investigated.
Okay. Is your private student loan debt keeping you up at night? You really need to talk to
Hold up, y'all. She get ready to speak.
Flag on the plate.
Y'all, there was a press conference a couple of days ago. And I listened to this press conference. It's behind the backdrop of the National Association of Black Journalists. And This press conference was incredibly disappointing. It was disappointing to me, but then I said, no, you know what? I said this was eye-opening. This was eye-opening because they said the quiet part out loud. And I'm not a prophet, nor am I the daughter of a prophet, but I told y'all weeks ago, I said this is absolutely political. This is absolutely part. Unofficially, we'll say unofficially, but it's moving like it's official. This is unofficially a part of the 2026 Democrat Party's midterm election interference strategy. Why do I call it interference? Well, because, as you guys know, the Democrats do have a history of swaying the outcome of elections, and they have a toolbox of tools that they dig into every election cycle. And we all know.
All right. Drop a Democrat in the chat for me if you represent Democrat. Drop a Democrat on a replay game if you represent Democrat. This is going to be a non-biased demonstration. I just want to, see who's Democrat and see who's Republican. So where are all my Democrats at? Because she's speaking against Democrats. So this is why I'm asking.
One of the tools that never seems to fail them is to exploit a tragedy on the basis of ethnicity. Rile up the blacks, get them all in their feelings, have them, marching with the bloodstained banner of victimhood and racial grievance. Also, they can usher them to the polls and sway the election in the direction that they want them to go. And this year is particularly important. Why? What did we see happen all summer long, all through the spring? We saw redistricting, right? We saw the whole gerrymandering conversation come to the forefront. We saw it in Tennessee. We saw it in Louisiana. We saw the Congressional Black Caucus shaking in their boots. They said, oh no, our power is loosening. The blacks are waking up. The folks, the red states in the South are no longer playing along, and they're trying to take these districts from us. That's what happened. I know y'all think I'm dramotional. That's dramatic and emotional kind of blended together. But I'm telling the truth. What we've seen for the past 60 years is this power structure within Black America, where we've had these plantation overlords called the Congressional Black Caucus members. You got Clyburn out there in South Carolina. You got Mad Maxine with that horrible wig out there in California. Down here in Georgia, we got Hank Johnson. Mr. Low IQ, Guam is going to tip over. Like, we have them spaced out all over the place. But these members of the Congressional Black Caucus, they preside over majority Black districts. And the moment these red states were like, well, wait a minute. New York is gerrymandered. California is gerrymandered. Like, it's time that we redraw some of these maps, because the electoral demographic is starting to change, and we don't really have any representation here. And more importantly, why are these districts drawn on the basis of ethnicity? Do all Black people think the same? Or, I know most of us vote blue no matter who, but not I, says the cat. I don't vote blue.
All right, so let me just slide in for a second so far. Now, here's my take, and I'm not Democrat nor Republican, so I don't have a cat or a Doug in this fight. Now, if I only see, and y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, if I only see those that represent the Democrat Party step up and are fighting for the justice of Nolan Wells, if Al Sharpton, if they're pushing the narrative and if they are campaigning for the Democrat Party, however, at the same time, if they are standing on the right side of the Nolan Wells case, then I would say 1 point for the Democrat Party. Is it any Republicans? And y'all can let me know. Is there any Republicans that's standing on the right side of the Nolan Wells case? Because if there is, then I could give 1 point to the Republicans. But so far, 1 point to the Democrats when it comes to the Nolan Wells case. So far, 1 point to the Democrats.
And so, when the redistricting conversation, I know I'm taking y'all into the kitchen and y'all like, why are we going into the weeds? This matters. It matters and it's relevant to this Nolan Wells case, and I'm about to explain why. It matters because if maps get redrawn and all of a sudden those congressional districts that were majority black, which technically is a violation of voting rights legislation, or should I say it's discriminatory on its basis. If these congressional black districts, these individuals, they won't be able to compete because no one's gonna vote for them outside of the blacks who are just conditioned to vote for them anyway. If they start losing power, mind you, it's not black people are losing their right to vote. No, it's black Democrat Marxist politicians. They're the ones losing their power. They're not gonna go out without a fight. And because they're not going down without a fight, that means the gloves are off. They don't care who the casualties of war must be. Even if they got to go down to Mississippi in a small boating community that wasn't bothering nobody. These folks were down there minding their business. If the right tragedy happens to manifest itself, they figured we can put a racist narrative on this, spin a tragedy that's not a crime. We don't know what happened to Nolan Wells, but if we can spin this in our favor, maybe, just maybe, we can use this to galvanize the blacks and give them a reason to vote for us. Not because our policies are good, not because we have any sort of measurable results that have proven to improve their conditions. They don't have that. The schools are still trash. There still is no economic development. Wage gap is still the same. They're out here advocating for it.
Now, let me stop it right here. Now, can somebody check with me? Can somebody let me know what state is Mississippi? Is Mississippi a blue state or is Mississippi a red state? Because to say that the black Democrats, to say that the Democrats has went down to Mississippi and is making this about the Democrats. Okay, so somebody correct me if I'm wrong. The red is Republicans, correct? I see you, Uncle Charlie. Give me a minute. I'm going to let you come up. The last time I checked, red is for Republicans, correct? Okay, yes. So now if Mississippi is a Republican state, how can the Democrats come to Mississippi, which is a red state, and cause problems? See, where we got to start at is who's running Mississippi. See, it's easy, and it's very easy to nip it in the bud. Who is running Mississippi? Red. The Republicans is running Mississippi, the state of Mississippi. See, we're focusing in on Mississippi. We're not focusing in on no other red states. We're not focused in on no blue states. See, this is what I'm saying when, as a people, I'm going to say as a people, we have to focus in on one issue at a time. You know, the last demonstration, the drifter, the Riddler asked about why aren't blacks doing anything for the state of Chicago? And me, Rogers, Phoenix Rising, and the rest of us was saying, we're going to let Chicago worry about Chicago. There are plenty of people in Chicago that can handle Chicago. But right now, we are addressing what's going on in the red state called Mississippi. So if you're watching this Unshakable with April, I truly disagree with what you're saying as far as the Democrats going down to Mississippi causing these issues. Nah. The issues start with the officials down there in Mississippi. And those officials have to be operating under the red umbrella, the Republicans. I just want to make that a note. So I'm going to give the Democrats another point. So that's 2 points for the Democrats because the Democrats are being falsely accused. So, but we're going to continue to listen to more of Unshakable with April. And once again, I'm not Republican or Democrat. And for those that want to know who this lady is, make sure y'all go and subscribe to her channel, Unshakable with April.
Illegals and giving them your jobs, moving them into your communities and giving them your resources. But that doesn't matter. As long as there's always a problem, they always have something to campaign on. And what is the one thing that they campaign on that they know will get you in your feelings, have you put your defenses down and run to the polls out of fear mongering alone? What is that? It is racism. The fear of the racist white boogeyman who's behind every nook and cranny. If they can just make sure that ghost is always haunting you, always chasing you, then they've got a legitimate campaign strategy that they know will yield them some measurable results as it relates to the black vote. So what does this have to do with Nolan Wells? Well, I'm about to tell you. Actually, I'm not about to tell you anything. You know who's going to tell you? Al Sharpton. Okay, Al Sharpton is going to be the one to tell you in his own words. Now, Al Sharpton's holding his press conference. And it's interesting because I thought, ladies and gentlemen, that this was supposed to be a press conference about determining how this 18-year-old young man died. But that's not what you're about to hear. Like I said, I need Al Sharpton to tell you in his own words. So y'all take a listen.
I think people is most important in the NV because I can cooperate with my colleagues.
Good morning. Let me say the case that we have been dealing with now for the last several weeks around Nolan Wells is indicative of many cases around the country that have raised serious questions with racial overtones. Attorney Crump and I are going tomorrow. I'm doing the eulogy for a young black man in Madison, Wisconsin, homeless, and they say had a knife, and there's the tape of him being shot. 3 cops surrounding him, shot and killed, 4 shots. And these cases building up in a climate of an administration in Washington that we cannot feel will objectively investigate. There was a time that we could say if state authorities fail us, we can go to the Justice Department. Even under George Bush, we went to the Justice Department. We, at this point, have to hope that one, we can deal with civil courts, or secondly, that there's a balance of power, the Democrats taking the House in November, and maybe the Judiciary Committee under that can at least put a check and balance on cases that need to be investigated.
Okay.
Flag on the play.
Flag on the play. Let me just kind of summarize what he said. But basically, Al Sharpton begins by talking about, this Nolan Wells case resembles so many other cases with racial overtones. And I'm like, really, Al, how is that? How was that the case? Actually, most of these cases did not have racial overtones at all. What they did was they inserted the racial overtone. The ethnic narcissist always believes that the racial overtone is ever present among us because they just make it up, right? So anytime there is an incident that involves black or white or black and Asian, black and anything else, well, other than Hispanic, they don't really regard the Latinos too much. So it could be a black and Hispanic, and no one's going to claim racism. But usually it's black and white, secondarily black and Asian. Whenever there is some sort of incident that occurred where those are the two ethnicities of in question, they assume there's a racial overtone. Now, we can prove without a shadow of a doubt in so many of these cases that race did not play a part in what happened or was the proximate cause of the incident. But it doesn't stop them from inserting race into the discussion because racial grievance and if you're a race hustler, and this is your currency of choice.
See, I gotta slide in, y'all. I gotta slide in. And there's many reasons why I'm gonna slide in, but why is it when it's a YT situation involving a melanated person, right? How come the left side, they never want to bring up race? They always say, y'all always trying to make this about race. But as soon as there is a melanated on melanated crime, here they come. Here they come making it and talking about race. As if to say that YT people should get a pass when they do things to us because we do it to our own selves. And I forgot this content creator's name, but I'm not the one that, said this, what I'm about to say to y'all. I got this from somebody else. A content creator said that, and it's a little bit off a subject. However, it's still on the same subject. Leave me alone, positive vibes. Leave me alone. Snapping turtle, leave me alone, y'all. I'm trying. Stop, man. Y'all just gotta mess with me and get me to start laughing. So this content creator, it's about the N-word. Why, when other races call us the N-word, why do people try to dress it up and say, well, why do y'all get mad when other races call y'all the N-word, but y'all turn around and call yourselves the N-word? And this content creator said the same way when females, you know how females call each other the B word, and it's cool, but let me call a female the B word. Let a man call a female the B word. All hell gonna break loose, right? For the transformer community, the rainbow community, they call each other, the names, but let a straight person call somebody from the rainbow community one of those names. I'm saying all this to say it's not cool for anybody to think that just because melanated people harm each other, that it's cool for them to harm us and it's okay. Now, I'm trying to listen to her. I'm trying to listen to you, April. Let me listen to April some more, y'all.
So you've got to find it or insert it wherever it doesn't exist. So he mentions that, so many cases like this included with racial overtones. And I'm like, who mentioned race other than y'all? What they did was they saw that this case was ripe to pull the wool over people's eyes because of geographic location. It is in Mississippi. Okay. And I'd like to say this. I need people who live in Mississippi Do not allow these individuals to force you to live under the perpetual condemnation of the past. Especially if you are a Christian and you are free in Jesus and you've been made alive in Christ Jesus, whatever happened in the past, if you've repented of your sin and placed your faith in Christ alone, that has nothing to do with you. There is now, therefore, no
See, this is a result of American society. She wants to deal with this situation when it comes to racism and being a racist. She wants to deal with it halfway into the story. She wants to lean more to the end part of racism and being a racist. She don't want to nip it in the bud. Now she bringing in Jesus Christ. See, she's bringing in Jesus Christ. Jesus don't have nothing to do with this. He don't. He got a lot to do with the Nolan Wells case. He's present. I don't want those to think that I'm disrespecting Jesus because I know how people are. But what she's trying to say and how she's trying to make Jesus irrelevant to this. Now, you got YT people. See, the one thing that she's not zooming in on, she's not talking directly to Nolan Wells' mother. If it wasn't for Nolan Wells' mom, Al Sharpton wouldn't have been doing the eulogy at his homegoing. If it wasn't for Nolan Wells' mom, Ben Crump wouldn't be in the building. So you got to talk to Nolan Wells' mom and understand that Nolan Wells' mom is the one that's pushing the issue. Nolan Wells' mom is the one that's pursuing justice for her son. Deal with it in the very beginning of things. Let's get to the root and let's find out why Miss Christine feel the way she feel. If you start right there, April, all you got to do is start right there. Leave Ben Crump and them out of this. Just leave. They just backup dancers. They just the hype man. That's it. Focusing on Nolan Wells' mom. I don't know why it's so hard for folks to focus in on Nolan Wells' mom. That's a mother. I mean, I just don't know how much more plain I can make it. It's not about politics. And if you want to bring politics in it, and if you want to call folks out, you're going to have to call out the Republicans. Once again, I'm not Democrat. I'm not a Republican. So I could see the error on both sides. I could see the good on both sides. But if you're going to call out a political party in the Nolan Wells case, you got to call out the Republicans. The state of Mississippi is a red state. I mean, come on now. Let's be honest. The blue side, the Democrats, they the ones that's on the right side with Nolan Wells' mom. I just don't know what else to say. If we want to talk politics, let's talk politics. And I will be dropping a link. Just give me a minute, everybody. And I will be coming to the chat as well. I see you, Uncle Charlie. I have to come back tomorrow. Work outside today. I'm a little nauseated. I'm throwing up a little bit. I'll come back tomorrow. All right. Appreciate that, Uncle Charlie. And I wish I could have got it started earlier, but I had some running around to do. All right, Uncle Charlie. But let's come back to her, y'all. It's not about whether the parents are right. We got to take that out of the equation. Whether or not the parents are right. And in this case, the parents are right. They got that right to feel the way that they feel. They got a right to pursue justice for their child. They are right in this case. They are absolutely right. All they want to know is what happened to their son. They're not blaming nobody. They're not pointing the finger at nobody. All Nolan Wells' family want is to know what happened to their child. They say it was drowning. I mean, come on now. Let's keep it 100. a drowning is simple to rule when it comes to the autopsy. I know somebody gonna say not necessarily, Shank. Trust me, if Nolan Wells drowned, now when it comes to the red coloration on the back of the head, you got me with that. You got me with that one. But to prove that he drowned, it's as simple as 1, 2, 3. How do you check? How do the medical examiners check for drowning? They're going to check the lungs. Don't the first medical examiner got the lungs? They're going to check the toxicology report. It's simple. It's simple. If it was a drowning with all of this that's surrounding the Nolan Wells case, and if it was really a drowning, that red state called Mississippi would have been let that autopsy report go. But you know why they didn't let it go? You know why they didn't release it to the public? They can't. As well as the throat. They can't. Because if they release it to the public, it's going to go against the drowning ruling. If it would have sent the lungs, the throat, if Stacey would have sent it to DC, I promise y'all, if Stacey would have indicated the red coloration, I promise you, the private autopsy wouldn't have came back undetermined. That private autopsy would have came back. He did not die of a drowning. I can promise y'all that much. I can promise y'all that private autopsy report would have came back. Nolan Wells didn't die of a drowning. I see you down there trying to roast me, Snap Me Turtle, with my stand.
I'd like you to meet two independent restaurant owners, Ashley and Eric. They're both very passionate about
condemnation for those who are in Christ Jesus. Now, you would think a pulpit pimp, this bobblehead right here, would know and understand that if he understood the scriptures and loved God and loved his word. But no, he's a false shepherd. He's a wolf. He's out here perpetrating like he's a pastor, but he's not. He is no reverend. Okay, this is why the racial grievance can never die. This is why the black community can never heal, because he doesn't want them healed. He doesn't want people who've never, 9 times out of 10, experienced any sort of legitimate discrimination. He doesn't want you to be free in Jesus and to live as free citizens. You would think somebody like Al Sharpton would be encouraging the black community to lay claim of their American heritage, to function in their freedom, and to live as free citizens in this great country. But he can't make money and raise money off of a message like that. So when he talks about, we're in a climate, where this case has racial overtones, and then here comes the kicker. Shortly after that, he introduced the balance of power with Democrats taking the House in November. And I said, well, wait a minute. I thought this was supposed to be a press conference about determining how an 18-year-old died. Why am I listening to a campaign commercial about Democrats taking Congress?
See, let me say something. See, she the type that have a problem with Colin Kaepernick taking a stand. See, she the type is like, let's say, and she's basically telling y'all, she's one-sided. She's a one-sided mind type of female. At a funeral, she would be the one if, let's say, if somebody was having a homegoing service, right? And let's say a pastor from another church come and give the eulogy at that church. She would be the one that'll have a problem with the pastor from another church coming to her church giving the eulogy. She, in a million years, she wouldn't be able to understand why they allowed another pastor to come into their church to give the eulogy. She the type, I'm telling y'all, she the type that I have a problem with everything. Any and everything. I mean, her whole demeanor, you know. Now, and this is another prime example. See all that energy that she putting in, talking about Ben Crump, all that energy she putting in, talking about Al Sharpton. Why she ain't lending any services for Nolan Wells' family? She ain't lending not one finger, but I call them sideline players. They always on the sideline talking about the players that's in the game. So far, she hasn't made not one point how Al Sharpton and Ben Crump is making this about politics. She mentioned, you know, and because Al Sharpton did mention about the House in November taking over. I'm be honest with y'all. I'm not Democrat nor Republican, but I'm gonna be honest with y'all. We see what the Republicans are doing down there in Mississippi. Not in just the Nolan Wells case. We see what the Republicans down there in Mississippi is doing in these young black men and women deaths. So if Al Sharpton is campaigning for a change in the House, and if the blue side can get in there in the state of Mississippi, and if the blue side can do a better job in solving these deaths, then I'm for the blue side. What other side can get in there and make a difference down there in Mississippi, I'm for them. Once again, I'm not Republican nor Democrat, but whoever get in there and make a change in Mississippi, I'm with them. I'm with them. Hey, Snapping Turtle, leave me alone about my stand too, man. Snapping Turtle says Shank finally got a stand and he got a light on it. Snapping Turtle, leave me alone about my stand, brother. My bad.
We get here, Al. This press conference is supposed to be about determining what happened to Nolan Wells, but instead, it increasingly became this argument about the Justice Department and how, well, we could go at least under Bush. We could seek some sort of remedy. But now Black America, you know, you got this situation down in Mississippi and all the racism and Trump. Don't forget Trump. The Congressional Black Caucus, what we can do, what we need. See, this is how we gonna fix all this, right? According to Al, his solution is you gotta make sure that you give Democrats control of Congress. Because if you don't, we'll have no recourse or remedy to protect you from the racist white boogeyman that was nowhere to be found down in Ocean Springs, Mississippi. Now, I'm not sure if it's this clip, but y'all remember maybe a month or two ago, I did the show clowning Al Sharpton because in a couple of weeks, at the end of this month, he's having that March on Washington. The National Action Network is sponsoring. They've got boatloads of victim class Black folks driving and descending upon Washington, D.C. And do you know why they are convening on D.C.? They are convening to march for voting rights. Now, last time I checked, Black folks are still voting. I voted in the primaries, and then we had a special election down here because David Scott, the congressional member from my district, he died. I voted. My son voted for the first time. Blacks are not having any problems at the polls voting. But why? Why is Al Sharpton having a march for voting rights? It's because it's not about your right to vote. It is about these Black Marxist politicians losing their districts because the maps have been redrawn because it's unconstitutional to draw a map on the basis of all these funky looking maps. What they do is they try to figure out where is the highest concentration of the blacks, draw maps around them, keep them locked in a district, and notice what is very eerily similar about all these black districts. They're all poor. They're all dependent on the government. Lots of SNAP, EBT, Section 8, poor infrastructure, no economic development. Businesses are fleeing these districts, not flocking to these districts. No business wants to invest in a congressional black district. Why? That's because the members of Congress don't want them to invest. They have to keep the people dependent because as long as you have limited freedom, limited mobility, limited access to do anything, they will always have something to campaign on. They like it like this. Look at Maxine Waters' district. Look at Jim Clyburn's district. He think he treating them black folks good. He give y'all free fish, a fish fry, and he makes sure he can bus you to a good domestic job in other parts of the county. But in terms of bringing jobs and industry to that district specifically, no, he ain't about to do that. The blacks might get a little bit too beside themselves and actually try to make themselves and improve their station in life. They got to keep pushing abortion. They make sure that Planned Parenthood targets your communities. Al Sharpton made sure that the menthol stayed in the cigarettes because it kept black folks addicted to the cigarettes more. They don't want your health improved. They don't want you to have access to better food choices. They love the food desert. Now they complain about the food desert, but they don't really care.
I can't take it no more. See, she reminds you of a Charleston White. She reminds you of a Officer Tatum. Same blueprint. Go against the grain. Stick with the machine. Go against the grain. Stick with the machine. Stop positive vibes. Go against the people. See, another Charleston White, another Officer Tatum, because they know that we're going to react to them. And that just keeps them in the algorithm. Hey, look, I ain't mad. It's all in the game. You know what I mean? And they say, don't hate the player, hate the game. I ain't mad at her. But I see right through it. It's to keep herself in the algorithm. Just imagine if I decide to get on the side with the machine. And just imagine if I go against the grain. I always say this. I would have close to 100,000. I would be on my way to 1 million subscribers. My face would be all over social media if I go against the grain, if I stay on the side of the machine. And when you hear people like her, that's the only reason why they doing it, y'all. Let me come to my chat. My chat been waiting patiently, and I'm going to drop the link. Anybody want to come up? Because you DM, they march, we stopped it. This stop just insulting people. This what I be talking about. Who counting your vote, ma'am? Maybe local, but presidential is already set in stone. She not talking about Nolan either. Facts. All this time, she ain't mentioned nothing about Nolan Wells' case. Nothing. I see you, V-Note. Are you serious about why we are listening to this stupid? I catch hell, boy. I be trying to keep the platform balanced. And I try, y'all. But I be catching hell. I be seeing y'all in the chat, Shank. If you don't get so-and-so off that panel, Shank, if you don't get that woman off of this platform, I'll be catching hell. The answer to every question she asks is because she's dumb. She sounds like she a raccoon. Make sure we hashtagging justice for Nolan Wells. That's why both parties are full of, you know what, V-Note. Let me drop my link, y'all. Feel free to come on up. Snapping Turtle says, I have been asking this question for the last 4 lives now, but no one has given me an answer. And is this organ harvesting? It might be, Snapping Turtle. I mean, he got sent to the private medical examiner missing the lungs and the throat. It could be organ harvesting. Damn it, but what color is she? She melanated, Sean. She's melanated. She one of us. Talk to me, V-Note.
OG, man. Man, she was on there cooking.
Talk to me. What? How was she cooking, V-Note?
I mean, she had one great point, was making this all political. It's the Black Caucus. You know, it's so much real stuff going on in the Black community. Like, it's so much other stuff. It's so much other stuff that they could be tackling, that they really could be spending their resources on, be trying to get us right. But just like she said, they fist to huddle behind this story right here. They fist to huddle behind this story and push it, and we don't have no solid facts of, you know what I'm saying, but them white boys did it to him like that.
Man, she was talking like shit. Man, y'all. Well, y'all
Plus,
get shit.
that's a black woman, you know. And you know that's you know, it's kind of messed up within the Black community, and I guess it's just us just having our conversation within the Black community. It's gonna be some, you know, dislikes, but it's like, but is she really going against the grain? Are they kill- are they are they killing me, man?
You see,
Oh man.
you see what you done to me. You see what you done do.
We gotta have a conversation, man. You know, I think it's a good conversation. You know, within America right now, and it probably always been like this. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I guess it was probably back like that. You know what I'm saying? Whenever certain black people was trying to get, like the black people to go back to Africa, and some black people was like, "Nah, we gonna stay here." Back in
Let
the
me ask
1800s.
you. What should we have done? Should we have went back to Africa, or should we have stayed here?
I guess it just depends on the situation. I guess it's all situational. That's why people made their decisions. And I think that it's a good thing that we stayed over here, because right now, within the world, black people within America is doing the most, more than any other black people in the world. You know, we able to have high positions. You know, we got billionaires, millionaires. We can be the chief. We can be the judge. We can be the doctor. We can be the president. We can be in high position of authority over here. But you're not going to catch that nowhere else in the world.
You don't think black people in other places in the world is in position?
Definitely not. Okay, let's look at the eastern part of the world, because we Westerns. Let's look at the eastern part. It definitely ain't no black people doing nothing in China. In the Asian world, it definitely ain't no black people in authority in the Muslim world. It definitely ain't no black people in authority in Russia and all these old places like that. East Europe. Then when we go to Africa, what? The white people, they done carved up Africa, got them saying that they this country, that they never named themselves. These are labels that was put on them, and now they got to answer to the Europeans and to Muslims over there. So where else in the world are we like? Matter of fact, people trying to come over here and tether off us, right? That's what we got going on right now. A lot of tethering, a lot of people not assimilating to be Americans like how we is and kind of getting in our way of what we're trying to do over here.
Let me make a public announcement for V-Note and Snapping Turtle. Y'all ain't gonna pluck my nerves today now. I got two of them up here with me. Lord have mercy. I got two of them up here with me, y'all. Let Snapping Turtle. I see you, Rogers. Come on, Snapping Turtle. Come on, man.
Hey man, I ain't even get up here good, and you already on me, dog. What I do, man?
Come on.
How's everybody going, man? What's up, big dog Shank? I see you up here. What's up, V-Note? I don't know if the other brother, but peace be on to you, brother.
That's Brother Rogers, Snapping Turtle.
Brother Rogers, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. I can't complain, man. It won't do no good no way, my brother. Not at all. How about
Nah,
yourself?
don't nobody want to hear that. We don't want to hear that, man. But good to see you doing good.
Yeah, that's it right there.
But I got a question though. I be up here all the time, man, with you, Shank, hanging out with you, and I always got questions because it seems like I'm uncomprehensive. I can't comprehend stuff most of the time. So maybe that's why I'm up here with all these questions. But like I said before, every time I'm hitting this live and I'm down in the chat, maybe no one sees me or nothing because I'm just like a small fry up in this joint. But I do ask about organ harvesting. I don't know if anyone's ever heard of that or how that goes about or what that consists of, but that's another question. Has anyone heard of it, or am I just going too far? And I don't even know if I can say that on your channel. I'm sorry if I said that. I don't know how YouTube works. They may shut you down after this.
You know what you can say, Snapping Turtle. You know what you can say.
But I just have questions though.
I mean,
so what do you all think about that?
I think we all heard. I think we've all heard of it though, Snapping Turtle. The H word, the O and H word. I think we all heard of it. And what I was saying to you, it could be a possibility because once again, the throat nor the lung. So it could have been that. It could have been exactly the question that you're asking. You want to come in, Roger?
Yeah, man. I've heard of the O and H, and on what's her name, old girl you played on the video. I heard everything she said in one ear and out the other one. Why don't you go get your nails did or something? Because what we on over here is on one question. What happened to Nolan Wells? See, these things come about as a distraction. We're trying to stay focused over here on the prize that's coming, which is justice. It's going to be a prize for us, not just for Nolan Wells, but for those that have been mysteriously dangling from branches and so forth and so on. We're going to move forward. We're going to put in the groundwork, you know what? So that in the future, the time coming for our children and their children, that they can be on the street and go places and not be afraid. Will that ever come is the point. When we get into who shot John and who cut Sarah and all of this, what Al Sharpton doing and what Ben Crump doing, they are there to help that woman and to put heat up on this situation because it's a cold case right now. It was a cold case. So they came to bring some heat, to bring an answer to a question that we've been asking for over 30 days.
Now, let me ask you this, OG.
Go ahead, bro. Come on.
When Ben Crump brought up the Emmett Tillman situation, do you think that was him alluding to Katie?
I feel like he brought that in as an example of things that has transpired, which are in familiarity. I mean, say the word for me. Familiarity, or whatever. I'm tired. I'm laying down in the bed. He said that because it was similar to what's transpiring in America today, not just with the Nolan Wells case, but let's branch out across America. Look around. Just last night, North Carolina dangling as as I am in North Carolina, and that gave me a nightmare. I shared that with Brother Shank earlier. You know what I'm saying? Here I am. I'm 55 years old. Why am I having a nightmare about the Klan chasing me? Huh? You know, so do I
Okay.
feel like that it put fear in my heart? No, it set in my subconscious because this is what we are facing. This is what we are dealing with. So I said that to say this: as me, as a 55-year-old man, is affected by it. Surely, my sons, our sons and daughters, are affected by it. So we have some groundwork to do. We can't sit up here and waste time listening to someone talk about, look what color suit Ben Crump got on. He shouldn't be wearing that. Why he pulling up in that? We can't worry about that. Let's look at what the focus is, what he's doing. He's helping that woman. Should we step aside? Should we have him step aside and help her? Or should we stay in our position spiritually? Because this is a spiritual war. There has been a dark, foul spirit hovering over the face of Mississippi, which branched out into other states, and wreaking havoc. It's the enemy is wreaking havoc in our communities, in our families. It's a bloodline curse on that generation that's putting people in trees. That's a bloodline curse. For the life of me, I can't understand how
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
world
I appreciate
a
that, brother.
dark
And I
organization.
don't mean to cut you off or nothing, but that's pretty long winded. And I understand your view, but I can't quite see it like glaucoma. You know what I'm saying? Because that view, like it's kind of cloudy, and like there's nothing opening up. Because everything that you have displayed to us, it has nothing to do with the questions that I asked. Now we talking about OH. And so with me, with that question, it takes us on to other things other than like a Dr. King speech. That sounds good. I appreciate that. But all that's been heard before. And like we will never get to the core of what's really going on with like recycled quotes and cliches, if you understand what I'm saying. So with
Oh,
that, with me saying that, do you remember the brother? I can't remember the name, Shank. Forgive me. But you remember the brother that they found, he had the locks. He was a young brother in the high school gym, and he was wrapped up in a gym mat. You remember his name?
Kendrick.
Kendrick. Okay. And then what about the sister that was at the hotel, and then some kind of way she wandered off into that meat locker?
Kanika.
What happened to them?
I'm with
What
you.
was the end results?
I'm with you. I'm not saying
And
it's
then
true. Let me
in both of those cases, I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, Shane, but in both of those cases, something was missing though, right?
Let me just say this. No,
Okay.
appreciate this, Marty. Nolan's organs aren't harvested. The medical examiner has them. So let me just grab this super chat real quick,
yeah,
y'all. Appreciate
yeah,
this super chat, perfectionist. We are originally from Africa. Even YT. Check it. All right, come on back in.
yeah. So I heard you. I understand you. I appreciate you. On this platform, we have one question and one question only. The OH, I don't know much about it. I've heard about it, but that's not what we're on right now. One question and one question only. What
The
happened to
propaganda that
Nolan
we're
West?
talking about, because everything that
Hold
we're
up,
talking
snapping
about is
turtle.
propaganda.
Hold
We're,
up, snapping turtle. Let him finish. Let him finish snapping. Go
we're,
ahead,
we're
Rod.
continuing to gather bits and pieces because this thing has been covered up. That's the question at hand because justice has not been served. All the evidence has not come forth. So when we get on the sideline and start running, well, have we heard of this and have heard of that? I'm not debunking what you're saying. That's a legitimate question, but that's not what we're on right now. Let's cross this bridge and we'll get to that next. Anything outside of that is derailment. When a train is on its tracks going from Washington to South Dakota, nothing should be on those tracks to derail it. It should be the tracks from Washington to the Dakotas that will carry it all the way through. Anything else that gets in its way is a distraction. Now, don't get me wrong and misunderstand me, because, we all have questions and they're legitimate. I'm not saying your question is not legitimate. But from the time that we all started here and when I came in, the question at hand was, what happened to Nolan? Let's put this together. Let's look at this. Let's look at that. So that's the question at hand, and that's what we're on here on this platform right now, doing some groundwork. Where can we go? What can we do to help out? How can we voice our opinion to add into this equation, if that makes sense? Go ahead, Shane.
Okay.
Come on, Snap. Come on, Snap and Turtle.
Yeah. Like, my point right now and my question right now, before I get back to my question, is like, what is really a distraction? To be able to respond for 10 minutes and like, I mean, wouldn't that be a distraction to not allow someone else to get their point across? Because I have a real valid point if I'm able to speak, and it only takes me 2 minutes. Like, all debates are 2 minutes. It would only take me 2 minutes to get it across, and then I would love to hear the responses behind that. But to like confirm something that we really are not knowledgeable about for 10 minutes, like, that would be considered to be a distraction. And so and going back to my question, as far as me speaking of the OH, I'm saying this for a reason. There's nothing political about it. There's nothing social about it. If you know what OH is about and who is all involved with that. And it's always the melanated people that they use for these OH situations, because we have so much melanin in our skin. And these hormones are very important for like different melatonins and different like chemicals and ingredients and stuff that they use for their own needs. So like with this, and if it is that, there is a price to be paid for both sides. And so my question with this, with them extracting his throat, and other parts of his body, and different organs and stuff, and putting them in a separate bag and not including them in the autopsy, I mean, that's very suspicious. I mean, wouldn't you say, Shane?
Yeah, I'm with you. Appreciate this super sticker, Shirley.
I agree.
And so with me saying that, and me also implying that it possibly could be propaganda, because why is it taking so long? And how many more interviews do we have to watch and listen to for everybody to fill up their pockets before we find out who actually did the thing? I mean, if we have been watching all these different interviews, and there'll probably be 10 more before, they line their pockets up before they come up with a conclusion that it wasn't nobody. He just jumped. And when he jumped, he skinned his knee on the boat, and then they couldn't save him. Like, that's going to be the end result. Like, I mean, it's propaganda. I mean, if y'all could just really hear what I'm saying without all that extraordinary, babble is what I'm going to call it. Like, let's really get to the core of it. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't mean no disrespect to no one. I'm not trying to say this out of line. I always got respect for you, Shane. But like, what's the bigger issue? And like, how many more interviews are we going to be able to watch before we come up with a conclusion? Okay.
Okay, now let's stay right there, because it's I think me and Roger, we feeling this way, and I think Vino and Snap and Turtle is feeling this way. So let's just build off of Vino and Snap and Turtle. It is a strong possibility that Nolan Wells did drown. It is. And it could have been, hey, he maybe fell off the boat. Maybe another boat was coming behind, didn't see Nolan. Maybe the boat that was coming behind, maybe it hit him. Maybe the boys, maybe they did leave off the island. Maybe they didn't have anything to do with Nolan. Maybe Nolan did stay behind. Maybe these witnesses that say that they saw him at 6, maybe they really did see Nolan. Because we really don't have the autopsy report. Maybe they held the lungs and the throat back for a good reason. Maybe. Now I'm gonna ask Vino and I'm gonna ask Snapping Turtle. And I want Vino, me and Roger, we just gonna play the back. I want Vino and Snapping Turtle to talk to each other. And everybody else, let's just listen to Vino and Snapping Turtle. You and y'all two go ahead and build.
What do, Vino? Go
What
ahead,
it
brother.
do? Okay, so we're trying to figure out what happened to him because he did pass. Long live Nolan. So my thought on this, because they haven't found nothing as far as no bruises, no gunshots, no stab wounds, nothing that can say that it was foul play. So so the only thing that I can really think of, because I don't think that the little brother choked him out, or none of them white boys physically just did it to him like that. Now, my theory is that he stayed back with the girl because there's two people that done said they done seen Nolan and that they know Nolan, that they know what he looked like, that they seen him after 4:30 with a girl. Now they don't know if it's that same girl, if it's another girl, but we find out that Katie's dad was even out there. So he hugged up with her all day. That may look, hey, that may be, to me, somebody probably in her family or somebody that probably know her. And when he told his friends that, hey man, I'm gonna stay here, I ain't getting on the boat, they asking him to get on the boat. There's a lot of witnesses that was on the boat that said that she even sent a text message to his friends saying that, yeah, man, I heard y'all tell him that, but she telling people that she last seen him go back to try to get on the boat. Now my thought is that he stayed with her when it came down to leave. He thought he was going to be able to get a ride with her peoples or probably with somebody else, and they did that old little, well, come on, come get on the boat, and just pulled away and was playing with him, and egregiously left him there in the deep end and let him drown, and just left him there. But it's somebody that seen him. Somebody had to see something with a drowning. I don't think that he was just dead drunk, or if he was on cocaine, that don't even matter. I don't think he was dead drunk or that high out of his mind to where he just wandered off and wasn't nobody around him at all, and he just decided to get in the water, and if he did swim, he drowned. Now, somebody seen something, and they quiet about it.
Right on. I totally agree with you, brother Vino, and everything that you say. I'm with you on that. Just to add to what you were saying, also, with all of us on the panel and on the chat and in the chat, I know we've done our research. Vino, were you able to see that one lady that did like a physical breakdown of like the footages and photos of everything that was happening on that day?
Nah, what you say?
Well, she was breaking down the photos and speaking on how they were photoshopped, some of the photos, and like how they didn't actually go with like just the image of a visual of the photos. Just with us looking at it with the naked eye, we wouldn't actually recognize that some of those photos were photoshopped, like the picture of the four of them on that boat. And I guess Nolan was in the middle and they was all hugged up cheesing. I know you seen that photo.
Right, right.
She was
So they
saying that
saying
that
that's
was
a fake
Photoshop.
photo?
Yeah,
Yeah,
she
I
was saying
heard.
it was Photoshop. She was breaking down like how the shadows didn't match up. She was breaking down how the sky and the clouds were different in each in the photo. And then she
See,
also
and
say
that's
again.
another angle that I really can't go because it's like, how is these young white boys the perfect murderers? To where they
Now,
discovered all they tracks, they got the photo already, they done hid the body, they done did all this, they done choked them out, they done hid. I mean, come on, they just like the perfect murderers, and they supposed to be
yeah, I
drinking
get
all
that.
that day.
I get that, and I'm saying what I'm saying because it's going to lead me to my second point. We talked about the OH. Now I'm getting to my second point of propaganda, right? And then she also did a breakdown of a photo of them. They were standing up together. Nolan had the the beverage. I don't know if it was alcohol or whatnot, but he had a beverage in his hand with his shades on. He was cheesing hard, and she showed the difference between where they were standing. I guess the boat steering wheel was behind them, and then she showed the two photos. One of them, there was a rail that was right next to Nolan, and then in the other photo, the rail wasn't there. And so she was also implicating that photo was also photoshopped. And then I also heard Brother Vino and Shank, if y'all heard that they started on one boat, right? Where the incident happened. And you can also see a photo on that boat to where there's a little blood spot on the floor. And then there also one of those, I don't know if it was Warren, Bart, or whomever, they was holding Nolan, kind of dragging him away from that spot, if you understand what I'm saying. Okay, I don't want to go get into much of that into that, but with me saying that hints to my propaganda point too, because if all of these photos are being photoshopped, and then we're having all of these interviews about who did it, why they did it, we're interviewing all the people that was involved with it. Like, why would it not be propaganda? Why would it take so long for them to figure out who actually did it with all these interviews with them telling on themselves? So, like, what's the holdup with them actually going ahead and doing the proper procedures? And that's part of my question as far as dealing with the propaganda.
So what I got to say about that, Shank and Roger?
I'm gonna let y'all finish building. I want you and Snap and Turtle, because I wanna I want to first respect y'all opinion and y'all perspectives. That's first and foremost. And then I just want to sit back and see if it's something that I missed. I may have missed something. Now, to answer your question, Snap and Turtle, once again, the reason why nobody has been arrested is because we believe it's a cover-up.
Right on. And
Come on,
so,
Vino.
let me
Now,
fill you
man,
in some more, big dog. Let me see if you missed this. Were you able to see the video of the judge, Warren's mom, right? The stepmom judge? Were you able to see the video of her out partying right after this event happened and celebrating? And then also like the $100,000 payment that she paid to try to like exclude her son and the other possible suspects that might be in this case.
Stay right there. Vino, this is when you come in. See, he's come on in, Vino. Let me be quiet. Come on in, Vino. You
now,
build it with Snap and Turtle.
right, and you know, there was some funny things about Warren. Uh, like as far like one thing that I really can't get out of my mind about Warren is that Tristan said that he called him about 9:45, but he missed the call. He said he was asleep, and I guess he was going to be calling about Nolan at that time. But then he ended up talking to him about 11:30, something like that, and I guess they was worried. I guess he was asking him, said he was going to call the Coastal Guard, but by that time he
Perfectionist,
had
he was
already
singing at the
called the
club.
Coastal Guard, huh?
Oh, I was
But by
answering the chat. Perfectionist said they saw her singing at the club, and that's exactly what I was talking about. Go ahead, brother.
and so, but he had already called the Coastal Guard at 11:07, or a little bit after 11:07, I think. You know what I'm saying? Like once he talked to the mama, and I'm trying to think, why would he tell Tristan that he gonna call the Coastal Guard if he done already called him? And then on top of that, why would he automatically think that something deadly had happened to Nolan when he seen him with the girl last? Now the girl popped up at the party, but Nolan didn't pop up with her, and he automatically think Coastal Guard instead of just hitting everybody up like, hey, y'all seen him? Just everybody can think of our homies. just try to lock in and even try to go back out there, like just try to just like hold on. But they kind of stayed there that night. You know what I'm saying? So, that's kind of funny style, but Nolan peoples did come over there and impress them. They all in the house, seemed like they was fucking them, telling them what to do, show us the boat, give us the
Okay.
phone. Whoop, 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 whoop.
I don't mean to cut you off, but pilot, the proof of the $100,000 payment, it comes from the Zeta Reticuli that we watch every night that breaks down this footage, has interviews with all the different, correspondents and people that's involved with the case or the situation. So you can watch it from her, Nancy Grace, the Zeta Reticuli. She would tell you everything that you need to know. That's where I got that information from, just watching her closely. Also, not only Nancy Grace, which had CNN, you had the BBC. It's worldwide with it, and they showed the judge Warren stepmom dancing in the club, having a field day right after this incident happened, right? And after this incident, also
As far as the
that
murder,
well,
that
the
right after the
unaliving of
murder.
them, yeah.
Okay, so
Right after that,
okay, so
Let me slide in. Let me slide.
she
Let me
was juicing and jamming.
let me slide in. V note. Use red rum. Don't say the M
okay,
word.
okay, my bad,
Say red rum. All right.
my bad. Okay, so you saying that she was celebrating, I guess, like the day afterwards, but like, was this during the time? Had they already found his body by that time?
I don't want to say the day after, but it was definitely after the event.
But that's kind of a reach to me, uh, because but I don't know how early, as far as they was getting their little death threats or whatever, people was trying to, come at them, or if people, what I'm saying, was even, coming at them. But I guess they got messages and all that, and all that stuff to kind of back up they little, a little theory and stuff like that they being accused and stuff like that. So, uh, I don't know. I really don't know nothing about that right there, as far as what the mama doing and nothing like that. I'm just trying to focus and see, like,
I
how
get
did
you,
he
bro. I
unalive? You
mean,
know what I'm saying? Like,
sometimes it takes longer than others, but knowledge is power. For us to have a clear overview, overstanding, understanding, whatever you want to call it. We really have to break this down and look in all six directions. I know some of y'all think it's four, but it's six directions. We have to look at all six of them and try to see exactly where they are coming from. Again, going to my point, how many more interviews are we going to have to watch for them to actually say, okay, these four little, youngsters, they actually are involved. And we need to go ahead and lock them up instead of worrying about their career. And thus for. And the reason why they're not going to do that, because it could be a part of the OH. It could be a part of the propaganda perspective I spoken on. It could be a part of a numerous amount of things. But we have to have a clear thought, clear understanding of everything and cover everything and not just only go by what they give us on this television. Do y'all understand? They tell lie on a vision. Tell lie vision. We can't just
but
listen to them. They are going to mislead us and take us all to a fairyland to where we won't have an understanding whatsoever for the rest of our lives. So you have to go into your own zone and try to figure out and understand what is actually going on. And from my eyesight and what I see, it's a lot of propaganda. Like, is there really a Nolan Wales? Like, you have to really think about that at this point. Because how many more interviews they going to have before everybody go on and cash in, fill their pockets up before they decide,
so,
okay, well, we couldn't find nobody. And that's
would
that's
you
all I'm
think this
saying.
is a psyop?
I mean, these are questions that I'm asking you in the chat and Brother Shank. So it's just an overview. I'm just giving my hypothesis, my theories.
See,
It's
and
not
that's why I
solidified or
think that.
anything. I don't claim I was there and saying, oh, this is exactly what happened because I can't say that. This is just a hypothesis, bro.
Right. And I feel you now. I feel you. I think that we need to target more in on Katie. You know, because I think if Ben Crump is smart, how they say he's smart, how smart he is, with him bringing up that Emmett Tillman, I think that him was trying to resonate that a white woman got Emmett Tillman killed. And the same thing could be with this situation. A white woman got Nolan Wells killed. And it's like I said, I
Using
was kind of,
racism as the first flaw in this whole situation.
well, it is, I mean, in certain situations, I mean, it is historically facts that, you know, a lot of stuff have happened to black people, to white people now, probably not here recently at a high rate as it was back then. But, you know,
Well,
I
I
mean,
get what you're
you know,
saying with
some white
that.
people don't like black people.
I get what you're saying with that, for sure. But if you are familiar with Carlos Linnaeus and the different terminologies that we use, the term racism, black, white, none of that. White people, the term white people didn't exist until the late 1600s. So it's not that old. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's really young if you look at the overview of how the world and the universe, how long it's been turning. It only started in the 1600s.
Right,
And
right,
that was
right.
due to Carlos Linnaeus giving everything a common name and a scientific name, right? So that's some made up stuff too, to like go along and lead with racism because that's an emotional drive. They drive you with emotions so that you can like totally be off your rocker and totally not have a clear thought for yourself to see what's actually going on because you leading with emotions. Energy and motion is what emotions mean. So you're using that energy to lead with so that you can't think straight in order for you to see that, oh man, this is wrong. So I mean, I don't want to go into that, but
I mean,
we
the
should
reason
have
that
a
I
clear
bring that
thought,
up
a
is
clear view on
because,
what we're seeing,
I
uh,
mean, the reason that, I mean, the
without the
reason that
spells.
I mean, the reason that I bring up the race is because of the love. Now, when I'm talking about the love, I'm talking about, you know, most black people kind of got love for other black people. Like you see a black person out, you kind of, it's kind of a love factor there. Now, it's kind of shaky with white people and black people. Sometimes it's cool, sometimes it ain't.
There's no
You
such
know what I'm
thing.
saying? What you
White
mean? As
people and
far
black people. But go ahead.
so that's what I'm saying. So with her father being out there, we finding out that her father out there now. He been hugged up with this girl. I don't know if they been secretly. They been probably had relationships before today, or they just met that day, or if she got a person, a stalker or something like that. I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out how did he get along. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to see how did he get along and who the people that was with him last kind of gotta know more. But what we getting right now is just this 4:30 thing. Like we kind of stuck right here with this 4:30. Now we on the boat. Now we saying, hold on, nah, we heard him on the boat. They saying that Nolan on the boat, Nolan on the boat, and they done did something to him on the boat. And I'm like, I just can't see that. But then again, I could be tripping. But the fact is that he gone though, and
Right on. I thought he was with. He said he was gonna stay back with that one girl. I don't remember her name, but and
yeah,
then
Katie.
I think it was either Warren or Bart's ex girlfriend or something, wasn't it?
Nah, I mean I don't know about that, but
That's what I mean from the television. That's what I'm getting.
see, but Bart and them, I guess they was already. I guess whenever Wyatt and them left on the boat at 4:30, then I guess they kind of got stalled out or something. I guess Bart came out there and came and helped them for a little bit or whatever, and then I guess they went on and did their thing. But whenever they made that call, Bart and them was over there with them, so Bart couldn't have did it. I mean, he probably could have did it, but I'm saying during that time when they made that call, he was with them. But Nolan was seen spotted around 5 or 6. So it
Brother
couldn't have been
Shank, don't be
Bart in
holding
there.
back on us, man. Just listening to us and you know more than us. Give us your clear thoughts, big dog. What you think, man,
I
on
mean,
everything that's spoken?
I'm giving y'all the floor. You know what I mean? I'm giving y'all the floor now. I want y'all to get everything out that y'all can get out. I don't want no interruptions.
Let me say
I mean,
something
these
real
are my
quick.
questions. Hopefully they
Let-
sparking
Okay.
brains, sparking thoughts. I mean, I would love to hear some
Okay.
you know,
Let brother Roger
responses or
slide. Let brother Roger slide in. Come on, Roger.
I just want to chime in real quick because I'm fading. I got to get up early in the morning, brothers. I appreciate your dialogue, man. Still stay strong in the war, man. I appreciate your dialogue, Snap and Turtle, man. Chime in tomorrow. I ain't got
thank you,
much
brother.
right, you know. V note is always good. Shank is always good. Belinda, get them pots and pans out. But anyway, man, everybody, it's been well. I got to rest, but stay in this vein right here where we at. I'll tap in with y'all tomorrow.
I appreciate you, brother.
All right,
Yes,
OG.
yes, sir.
All right. So I got Snap and Turtle up here with me, and I got V Note. All right. Let's rock and roll. So I let y'all
Shank,
get
if you don't
everything.
mind, do you mind giving me an overview of everything that we've covered and spoke on? Like, could you give me a clear thought and your perspective on everything that we just mentioned?
Well, let me
Okay.
put this out there real quick, Snapping. So, do y'all think, as far as, because we talking about the city is covering it up and stuff like that in the state, like, so, but do y'all think that because the mother brought in Trump, I mean not Trump but Crump, and kind of made it and played the racial card, and they've been living down there in that community forever. She work at the hospital. Her son be kicking it with them, be kicking it with the judge son, and all this. Do you think that the town kind of looked at her now like, dang, you gonna flip it on us like this, and now people really ain't gonna help her when it's a small town like that where you kind of could have heard something through the grapevine, and people talk, and now it's kind of
Okay,
like they
so
kind of it.
if I can jump in um, to answer your question, when it's dealing with the OH and the propaganda. Okay,
Right.
so with the OH and the propaganda, I think it's bigger than Mississippi. And to explain that, dealing with the OH, right? That's dealing with the elites, right? Because they believe in living forever. And I don't want to go too far with that. And then so when it's dealing with propaganda, that's all about profit, delay, um, you know, being subjective and having different perspectives on like non-reality, right? Because this could not be a real thing. Like we can't trust what we see on television. We really can't. And how do we know? And like,
So
has
what you
anyone?
kind of
Go ahead.
so what you kind of saying is that Ben Crump and the state is in on it together, and they just
Ben
playing the
Crumpet,
pieces.
yeah, Ben Crump is a boule. Like he is, like he don't care about what's going on. He just trying to get the bread. He don't care who wins or loses after he wins his money, and he gone. Right, he gonna bustle you on him and chase the other ambulance going down the other way. That's what he is. He is a boule. And if you don't know what boule is, I I recommend that you thoroughly do your research.
But do
But
we
going back
need
to you,
black
Stank,
people like
what
him that can kind of like make these stories, kind of known, and kind of put, kind of put a light behind them?
say it again?
I said, do you think that it's good to have people like this that can come and get like the national news to kind of tap in and get the word to kind of see what's going? If it is something, to kind of see if it's a wrongdoing, what's wrong over here, and it seems like they trying to kind of wipe it under the rug, as we done seen, with these people and try to like, do some shady stuff as far as with the police and other stuff like that. Is it good to, I'm going to have people like Crump that's going to come through?
Um, if you don't mind going through the boule system, they the gatekeepers. I mean, if
But
you
it's
understand
good
how
to have
boules
those type
work,
of black people within this society, though, right? I
but
mean, within this little
they don't care
society that
about
we
they
got.
it, see when you're on that level, there's no race. If you understand what I'm saying, that stuff don't exist. That is like peasant talk because the reality of the world, like there's no race. Everything comes
Bro,
from
but
one
you
thing.
already saying that it ain't no race because of it not being black and white, though, right?
No, it's not black and white. It's only for the mere mortals that can't see, like us. You know, we can't see, but it don't have nothing to do with race or none of that stuff. That's why I'm bringing up propaganda or OH, and I'm keeping it like I'm keeping it really simple, elementary. When I'm speaking on that because I don't want it's a good life, and I don't want to get too deep into that and create corruption over. I'm a troll. You know how I go.
So, with the angle that you is taking, that's really kind of unpolitical, right?
Nah,
Let me
political.
let
That goes under the 5 P's. There's pillars. There's 5 P's when it comes to it. The pillars: politic, pornography, police, psychology. What's the other one? But there's the 5 pillars that they base everything under. It's gonna come up to me in a minute. I'm just talking real fast right now. My mind racing. I got other things I want to say.
let
But
me
it's coming. I name 4. Go ahead.
let me let King Rooster come on there. Slide in,
Okay.
King Rooster.
Peace, King.
Can you hear me? First of all,
Yeah,
can you hear me
yeah.
clear?
Come on. I can hear you.
Okay. Look. People. Look, I'm from the real Jim Crow South, man. Born and raised, bro. All of this stuff that y'all talking about, bro, is speculation. Is bull crap, bro. Down there on the Mississippi Gulf Coast, them people live a certain life. Those are the white adjacent blacks. Certain people across the different parts of state of Mississippi know not to do that. We don't live the same. Look, it's a lot of people down on the Gulf Coast that are black. Just like some of you northern people, when y'all hear people from down south, y'all criticize. It's some people that's on the Gulf Coast that are black that wouldn't look at if they thought they can smell you, they wouldn't walk up and talk to you, bro, because they live a certain lifestyle. This case has proven all of the bull crap that people from all across the state. Oh, Mississippi don't have no money. Mississippi don't have educated people. Mississippi don't have power. Y'all looked at all these videos. Them people living better than some of y'all. Them people are in better positions than some of y'all. And guess what? They showing that they got power because guess what? You Negroes done trained y'all self to call them folks white tea on your own instead of calling them white. Y'all Negroes and did exactly what the Willie Lynch letter said y'all would do. Y'all would train y'all self to dumb yourself down. Y'all saying white tea. You scared of calling them Caucasian. You scared of calling them white, but they can get on the word and they can get on the platforms and call y'all Negro uh, the N word every day. They ain't cutting back. They ain't, bro. Whatever happened down there, that's between the way they live. A lot of y'all that's living it upper the echelon life as black people, always chasing the bag, going on trips and everything. What y'all doing is y'all chasing the bag and neglecting your children. Now your children got to be around these people that you put them around, and they don't know what to look out for. And then some of y'all been in them lifestyles so good, so long, the way y'all part of the bootleg, them crossed over a part of the divine nine. Get what? You don't want to deal with your people no more. So the only thing you're around is white people, Caucasian people. And when you put your kids around their kids been taught from birth. That little nigga baby ain't now one of us. We choose our own first. So when they get to playing like boys play, and your son just a little bit too weak because he had to watch everything he do. But you ain't teaching them to watch how they play. Them white boys play hard, boy. Anybody that grew up around white boys, they don't teach their boys to be soft. That incident could have been a goddamn mistake where somebody did something to them, fooling around, playing around. Now they got to figure out what to do with the body. Them white boys on that drink and that cocaine or whatever they do. You notice they don't mention the drugs. Man, the Mississippi Gulf Coast is full of drugs. Them folks huffing shit out the gas station that you cook with, bro. They ain't talking about the pills and that, because you know what's gonna happen is if drugs come up in a situation, then now they got to drug test everybody. And oh Lord Jesus, don't let the boy if the autopsy come out and say the boy passed away from fentanyl, now they got to really dig. Y'all stop watching all them old them black movies, Color Purple, and all that Mississippi burning. They ain't talking about the time to kill. They don't
But do
want to
you
talk
think
about the
that the
movie where the
police would
black
have had
man.
somebody?
Hey,
But do you think that the police
Rooster.
would have
The
had
police ain't.
somebody by
Hold
now
on, hold on,
if
hold on,
they?
hold on. Yeah, okay, if there was an all black situation, street justice would have happened that same night, and then all the rest of the Negroes that survived the shooting or whatever would have been in jail because that's how I go in our community. Y'all got black folks up in here trying to get y'all head amped up to start a race war. Y'all fat, out of shape, and ain't equipped to walk across the goddamn street. Y'all ain't equipped, but y'all talking about a total full out race war with white folk. But guess what?
Hey, Shane, can
A
I cut in right
Negro,
quick and say this right quick?
that's crazy, bro. Go
Come
ahead,
on,
go
come on.
ahead.
King Rooster, you a big dog. Shank, you ever seen that clip of Obama and Keegan Michael Key? That's me and that's Turtle and Rooster right there, dog. That's how I would be saying it if I was King Rooster. That's exactly what I'm saying, man. I'm Obama. He Keegan Michael Key in the background. Like if Obama, King Rooster, big up to you, big dog.
Yeah, just like I said, I'm a resident of the state of Mississippi, man. I live here, I live other place, and I'm also a commercial truck driver. I've been around all races of people, bro, and these people have these problems. These folks try to boost y'all head up to get into something they ain't really willing to fight. It's all about the money. Ain't nobody trying to really get down to the bottom of it. They just looking at and holding on to, oh, this is a black person that was supposed to be done something to him by a white person. Lord Jesus, we got to up and at it. We gonna sing and we gonna march, bruh. But why
Yeah, I
y'all
should
ain't
have said it
singing and
like
marching
this.
when we got them? Why we ain't singing and marching when them FITs pop out every Friday or every Saturday or Thursday at them gas stations? Street justice used to happen. Why it ain't happening in this situation? Man, it's people that got hurt just for grabbing chicken off the barbecue grill at the wrong time or going in somebody's beer cooler. And we do it to ourselves. But there ain't no marches about that. Hey, put the firearms down. That man ain't want nothing but a 50-cent bill or whatever call. But you done shot his mama house up and everything. This little stuff right here, man. Don't let these folks amp your head up. If you're looking for a racial war to pop off, it's not gonna happen in Mississippi because a lot of black folks in Mississippi, we looking at this situation and like, where do these people come from to where you allowed your child to go outside their goddamn house? All the white folks know everybody in the group, but the black parents don't
That's
know
my
no
point.
goddamn
Is
body.
this propaganda? Good point.
Why you let your kid go over there? Man, so when something bad happen, bro,
He grown though. He
no, it don't
grown.
matter. But that's still your baby though. That man, I got a grown kid, bro. Look, he stay way somewhere else. You get what happened? If anything happened or if I feel of anything, I call him say, son, where you at? That Life 360, I had that on. I had that on his phone in like 2017 or before 2000. Life 360. Anytime my mama took him to the grocery store, I can tell what aisle he was on in the grocery store.
Hey, Rooster got a point, man, because if you look at all them photos, he was the only spot in every photo. Like them your only homeboys. Rooster got a point. Keep on, big dog. I ain't mean to cut y'all, but you got a point.
But we know a
But
lot
I'm
of
just
black
saying,
people like that just in America. You know what I'm saying? Just it could be a black person that's from the hood, but when we go to school, he kicking it with the white boys though.
but
That's his crew.
that don't mean nothing. He just figuring out life. You ain't saying you supposed to separate yourself from people because that's how you learn. You learn all aspects, all aspects of life from different people and the way they think. It's
Oh,
supposed to
I'm
be a
learning.
social
Don't be no
study.
scientist.
Yeah,
Just speak like Rooster. Yeah,
yeah,
Vino.
yeah.
That's what
But
I
I'm
was
just
saying,
saying
man.
though.
Ain't no racism. It ain't about that.
Yeah, but
Right,
but
right,
look,
right.
a black parent supposed to know. Any white parents, bro, white parents in the state of Mississippi, that them downtrodden, trailer house white folk, man, they ain't finna send their kids on no boat with no privileged white kids because they gonna single that poor ass white boy out. When they get to joking and playing, the poor person that ain't got nothing is always gonna get singled out. That's where the bullying get. It ain't always about race. It's about who they can pull this on
This
to make
man
them
has
look
so many
bigger.
valid points.
So yeah, so y'all cut that out. Cause look, as long as you fatten out of shape, stop talking about this race war. You won't make it over the levee. Come on, man.
Let me slide in, King Rooster. Let me slide in, everybody. All right. Now, the point to me that you proved, King Rooster, and hear me out before you slide in. The point that you proved was what we all have been, speaking on when it comes to Nolan Wells being the only melanated person, and there's reasons why I use certain words. I'll break that down later on. But you proved the point. Nolan Wells was singled out because he was melanated. You just proved my point. They would have singled out underclass YT boy, right? And this is what white supremacy is built on.
Yep.
It's built.
I'm
Let me
saying
finish.
them is Katie's people that did that.
I let
Hey,
everybody speak. Hold tight, brothers. I let everybody speak, and I ain't open my mouth. Y'all got to give me that. Y'all got to let me speak, brother. Just let me speak. Now, that white supremacy system that's in effect, it is to deny all non-whites. Unfortunately, we know some of the whites, they fall to the wayside. They consider them collateral damage. Hey, we built this society for us as white people to benefit off of. You being a white, if you want to be poor trash, if you want to be less, if you want to roll with the non whites, that's fine. That's on you. So what I'm saying is, if Nolan was a white boy, he wouldn't get the same kind of treatment that he's receiving. And the reason why he received the treatment and the reason why his family ain't receiving justice, because he black. I get what you're saying as far as Mississippi, they doing their own thing. But when the crime that took place, or when it happened in Mississippi, when it get exposed to the rest of us, what are we supposed to do? Now we can walk away. Now you said something very interesting. You said that Nolan or that type of people in Ocean Springs, they wouldn't give us outsiders the time of day. Another point that I've been stressing when it comes to the 40% house ninjas. Y'all keep, because that's King Rooster said, and I believe you. Y'all want to turn y'all noses up at the field ninjas. Y'all want to turn y'all noses up at us melanated people that don't got the education, don't got the resources, maybe live in the urban cities and everything. And then as soon as y'all YT friends do something to y'all, it's always us coming to advocate for y'all. Now, hold tight. Now, let me come to you, V-Note. You talk about it could have been about Katie, or why ain't nobody questioning Katie? Good point. I mean, we've always been, saying when you do deal with the snow bunnies, you got to be cautious. So I'm with you on that as far as Nolan, chasing that, the forbidden fruit. I get it.
I don't mean to jump in, Brother Shank, but I really have to say this.
Hold tight, Snapper Turk. Now I'm coming to you as far as your theory with everything, the propaganda, the OH and all of that. Strong possibility. But even you know, because me and you done had plenty of conversations over here when we go deep down that rabbit hole. Now, if Ben Crump do belong to them people, the B word, if he do belong to them people, and if them people is the only ones that's shedding light on these cases, then who are we? See, this is for the field ninjas. This is for the 60% field ninjas. We in error too, because we don't put up the fight. We sit back in the field and we complain and we talk about going hard in the paint. I'm coming to you, King Rooster. We talk about going hard in the paint, but do we really go hard in the paint? Come on, fellas.
If I can respond real quick, and I'll let
Come on.
everybody go.
Come on.
And like, I love how you delivered that. But the end result, after everything you said, and it all goes back to what King Rooster said, melanated, that is the supreme type of want to be. And I get that. But that's not actually what's included. It doesn't have anything to do with that. That's a superpower, right? Okay, well, it does have something to do with that because it's a superpower. But that wouldn't be the specific claim right now. Like what King Rooster said, you could be living in a trailer park and a YT, right? And they would treat you the same way as you had as if you had melanin, right? And so with that being said, it doesn't have nothing to do with race. It's all about classism. And when I spoke of that name, Carlos Linnaeus, speaking of classism, he came up with a concept that's called the binomial nomenclature. And this is how we classified different species that exist on the planet. When it comes to the human species, all species come from one thing. So there can't be a racism if everything comes from one thing, and that will be the melanated people, right? So with that being known from the elite people, not just like the hood or street, as we speaking of, they the ones that know that, but we only thinking on street level. But they ain't thinking the same way that we thinking, because that's exactly where they want to keep us. And so I would exclude being melanated, because everything comes from melanin. Everything comes from us. And if we want to blame anybody, we will blame ourselves, because if we knew that everything that was created on this planet comes from us, as far as like a human type, then we should blame ourselves, because we just let these fools go and we ain't doing nothing about it but complaining, like you just said, with your soliloquy. You know what I'm saying? So it all boils down to classism, the binomial nomenclature, and anyone can look that up. And it's a category of 17 different categories of species with scientific and common names. Now, the elites, they are speaking in scientific. The mere mortals, we are speaking in common. So we can't understand the scientific aspect of it in a common perspective. So we have to break that chain and start looking at the more scientific perspective of it, of the binomial nomenclature. Binomial means two names. The nomenclature means like the category or the speaking that we're speaking of. But go ahead.
Now I'm gonna let you come in, King Rooster, but let me just build with you, Snapping Turtle. Look, I salute you. We always build. But when we got 85% of the people deaf, dumb, and blind, when we got 85% of the people that still live in the fairy tale, what you saying, look, it's going way over the head.
I'm sorry, brother. You're definitely right. And I'm a 5%. I see that. I heard you.
So let King Rooster slide in. Come on, King Rooster.
No. So okay, what he was talking about the mathematical equations and calculations, the stars and the quasars. If it goes past their head, you got to understand, as a black man, everybody can't go. If they can't get it, each one can teach one just enough till they can get to the end of the road. Right? I understood exactly what he was saying about the 7 species and all that. The breakdown, he gave the whole breakdown, and he was using terms that some people just can't fathom.
So we
Okay,
gotta be
that's the same.
educated on
That's the
all
same.
that to know what's going
No,
on.
you don't. No, you don't. You don't. The only thing you have to do is understand word usage, and you can kind of piece it together and understand. That's for a regular person. But I'm just saying, bro. Y'all had certain things popped up that I wanted to go back to. Y'all was talking about Katie. Nobody's going to get a chance to talk to Katie, because in the state of Mississippi and all over across the country, we know that the money stops, and all the grifting is going to stop once they can get hold to a woman. In any situation where a man has been getting away with something or has got away with something, you know you can lock that situation down right then when you catch that woman. That's the key, because the woman is afraid of bondage. They are not going to talk to Katie. If they get Katie in there, and put some pressure on them, everybody money stops immediately. Because if they say, well, if you were there and you got an inkling of what you think was going on, if you don't say the right thing, you going away for a long time, and we can just blame it all on you because that's police. That's how police play. They can lie to you. They got the right to lie to you in order to get evidence. If they get Katie, everything gonna stop. Them boys, hey, it's gonna, hey, it's gonna get ugly. They are intentionally. You mean to tell me it was a hard leg party, a whole boat full of hard leg, no women around, bruh? If they was to pull every girl, even if a girl don't know nothing, she gonna orchestrate a goddamn story to get herself out of the situation. That's why you all never talk to Katie. You and then just part of it. Don't they got a little half white homeboy that was in the first interview? He was the darkest one. He missing now. He gone. He ain't even a part of the GoFundMe or whatever the hell. He gonna be a star witness when they go to splitting that goddamn, and his ass is left out, and he still got to ride a little putt car to Amazon warehouse or wherever the little ship docks and everything. Everybody else was already rich, right? Had money. Y'all better start paying attention. When people feel slighted, that's when they go to get talk. Go to talking. If they to the grand jury and everybody else is protected, but they leave a little poor half white boy out to fend for himself and probably ain't got enough money, and then parent got to put that house up or relocate. Bro, that's when the snitching get going on. You mean to tell me I'm finna let all y'all rich upper class folk leave me down up in the dirt and not because I decided to ride a boat with y'all one day and y'all did this? Y'all don't even know if that boy actually hang around him every day. He just might have linked up with him for a trip, but he missing out of the interview. The half white, the country talking one that look like he's a wop, a half breed. Boy, I can't wait to see when they cut that check and they split that money down and them other boys riding with them nice trucks and bought a new boat. Boy, somebody gonna get to singing. Look at how the other one looking. He look like he done got on some extra dope since this situation happened. He was white and fluff in the face. At first, now the boy look like he got on crank or something. Boy, it finna be some folks snitching. It's gonna be some people snitching, Shank. But that's what I got to say about that.
Let me let Vino slide in. Come on, Vino.
So, man, that's kind of crazy, man. So, so, so now Nolan friend, the black dude, is kind of like dang, that's kind of crazy. You know what I'm saying? For him just to be his friend, for
Cause you
him
thought
just to
about
be
it, didn't
speaking up on it. Now it's like he kind of targeted. He
he?
like
He
in a
missing.
way. But I'm saying, how's he missing? He was already gone once Nolan in there. I mean, once the boat was gone by 4:30 when he got done fighting.
No. Look, listen what I'm saying. Just pay attention to who all they are funding in the like who. Okay, just think about it. The Give Send Go, it's gonna have to have certain names attached to it, right? But you think
Yeah,
about it.
that's because
The
those are
half
the
breed
dudes that's
boy,
getting
he melanated, right? He might not be initially a part of the main clique. Okay, we can all hang
who
together
ain't
as
getting
black
those
people,
death threats.
but that's what I'm saying. We got to find out if he's the poor white boy, the passing white. Listen, what I'm saying, man. A lot of time when these type of crimes get committed, the ones that's in the group that hang with each other real tight, they got to stick together. All the rest of them got to shed off, and they got to, hey, we've been good friends and everything. Stay your distance.
I'm
They
saying,
tell them to stay distant because
why are all
what?
these type of stories we overlooking the white girl? Like, why we keep just running away from the white girl?
Listen,
The white girl ain't there, no interview.
no,
Everybody else just
I ain't
talk.
running away from the white
You know what I'm
girl,
saying? The white
but
girl got her sister talking for her. Ain't nobody pressed her. Ain't nobody went up there and slapped her. Nothing. Ain't nobody tried to get an interview. Oprah ain't tried to get an interview.
right.
Nancy Grace ain't tried to get an interview. Nothing. But ain't nobody saying, man, we need to be really taking a close look at the
Cause
white girl. It's all well, you know, it's a it's a psyop. Now
because
Nolan Wells ain't even real. It's like, dang, we done let our mind,
no,
we done let Ben
because
Crump take our
everybody
mind
know.
somewhere crazy.
Now all police know, bro. If you want to catch a
What's that?
woman,
Is he breaking up or is that me?
start talking. If they start talking, they breaking up. If they start talking to Katie, they're gonna stop because somebody gonna eventually press her into telling what actually going on. That woman is gonna be able to place everybody where they say were. Police in the state of Mississippi, you can get accused of something. They know to go to a woman. That woman, she can be sitting out on the porch and ain't got shit to do with what's going on, bro. If you go to a woman, your ass is damn near through because that woman gonna tell everything.
You
That's
gotta
why you
stop
will
using. You
always
gotta
not
stop
hear from
using.
Katie.
You gotta stop using profanity, King
My
Rooster.
bad,
Come on, bro.
my bad, man, my bad.
Come on, come on.
That's that Jim Crow South kicking in. Look,
No, you good.
but when you dealing with a crime, bro, a woman, they when they get pressed, they gonna tell on everybody. You see how many of these over the period of years, how many folks even got away with stuff, dope boys and everything. The only reason they got locked up because they pressed a woman in a situation. They'll let you go 10 years. But the moment they really want you, they're gonna go to your baby mama, they're gonna go to your next door neighbor that's a female that might like you or somebody you're screwing, and that woman gonna place you in every situation you say you were not in. Yeah, she was over, he was over here. Do you know about such and such? Red and Pookie Low around the corner. Yeah, I know them. He took me by the house. That woman is gonna tell everything. That's why y'all ain't gonna hear from Katie. Katie gonna be a star witness. I believe Katie gonna be a star witness. She gonna get immunity from everything. Come on, bro. Y'all be talking street, but y'all be acting like y'all ain't street. Katie is not gonna get talked to. She ain't gonna get no interviews. Everything, because see, she can use her
Well,
sister to talk for her. But
and why black people not outraged about that? They outraged about this audio clip about on the boat, outraged about his friends, but they're not outraged about this white girl though.
well, shit, okay. We already know how it goes when y'all color folks like to mess around with the snow and stuff. See, when y'all go to playing like that, certain people don't agree with that in the black community, and we just say whatever happens, that happens, and we told you so. Man, certain people in Mississippi will look at you crazy. You walking around with a white girl, and they don't want to be around you because we know the police coming soon to figure out what the hell going on. Why she round you?
Oh,
Come on, bro.
that's how it is in
That's down
Mississippi.
there,
That's how it is in Mississippi.
man, bro. A lot of black people in Mississippi love black women, bro. That stuff is for them kind of kids that was kind of off in school, didn't get the favoritism or whatever. Bro, we like black women down here. Katie couldn't do nothing up where I'm staying at. She couldn't do nothing.
And that
That
goes back
motherfucker
to
crazy.
classism, Shank. That ain't race, that's classism. It all depends on how you fit in.
That's true. So, fellas, before we get out of here, what should we do when it comes to the Nolan Wells case? Should we just drop it and just leave it alone, or should we continue to cover it?
I think you're doing great covering it, bro. Um, but as what you're doing right now, keep continuing to allow different perspectives, and we can get a greater understanding. That's all I gotta say. King Rooster summed it up for me. Drop the mic.
And I agree. No, you're doing a great job. Keep it lit. You know, as you see, we've been getting more information every other day, new stories, new angles, new clips and stuff like that. So nah, it's we got to keep it going till that grand jury come out.
All right, fellas, y'all been great. I got to get me some sleep. Salute everybody. I'll leave the chat running, and y'all can hang around for as long as y'all would like. Salute everybody. Shank Rock is the wave of the future. The diagrams that I have up, where did this go wrong at?
Remember, we didn't know this happened to her.
Around 3 o'clock that morning, I got random text messages and it was just pictures of her and the other little girl. I thought it was strange.
Oh yeah, you know, that's what I'm headed for, so let's get it.
Oh, let's say that's my head for it. Let's go back and say, do the last.
Oh, word? You said that's who?
Yeah.
You said that's who?
Yeah, it might.
Right. I'm trying to get
Let's get it 3.
Let's go. Say, man, what's up, man? It's your boy Charleston White, man. This is my first movie ever. $1 million what?
$1 million thing, $1 million thing.
$1 million thing, man. So I'm with my man, the producer Shank, man. So he finna show me what to do, how to put it down, man, so we can pick some up. So y'all stay tuned in and locked in, baby. Yeah.
Let's talk about some of these beefs you've been into.
Yeah, that's what I love. That's what I love. Let's get to it. Yeah.
Now, look, I'm going to save her for last, or should I start off with Gorilla first?
Her? You said her. That's a her to you?